Happy Halloween, Horror Syndicate followers, family, whatever. We are here to do a new video, and it's going to be a fan vote Halloween franchise ranking video. It's really cool what we did. But first, if you hit the subscribe button, we really appreciate it. We finally passed over 1,000 recently, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Getting closer to 20,000, not 2,000, 20,000 followers on the Facebook page. But we did something really cool right after Halloween Kills came out, and I put up a 5-star rating system on the Facebook page, and I'll show you here, or it's on there already. And it's really cool, and you just use the emojis to vote, and it's really interesting that this really does work very well, because the average score came out right around where most people rank these, so I don't think you'll be too surprised at the rankings, but we'll see. And what I did was I took the votes, I multiplied the star vote, like if it was 5 stars, how many ever people voted for 5 stars, I multiplied it by 5, and then I added it to the 4-star, which is multiplied by 4, and so on and so forth, and then divided it by how many votes, which came out to an average. So like Halloween came out to like a 4.7 average. Then I multiplied it by 2, just because there are some that averaged about the same, and multiplying it by 2 gave it a 10-point scale, and it honestly didn't even change the rankings. But you know, like people like say, I like to give it an 8 out of 10. Well, this is it. We've got a 10-point grading scale, and obviously this is going to be out of 10. So we ranked all 12 movies. Halloween Kills is included. And I do suspect if I did this next year, these will change, because Halloween Kills is in a surprising spot. Not that there's anything wrong with the movie. The movie was fine. I honestly hated it when I first saw it. I've seen it 4 times since. We've done a live stream. We ranked all the Halloween movies based on our preferences on the Horror Syndicate Discourse show last Thursday. And this is it. No more Halloween stuff for a while. We've been Halloween this, Halloween that, Halloween this, you know. So now, if you go to the Horror Syndicate on Facebook, we're doing the Freddy series, the Elm Street series. We've got, I think, the first 5, maybe 6 movies up already. Get over there, follow the page first of all, and vote. Rank the Freddy movies, because I'm going to do a video, I think on November 9th is when I want to get that one up, to rank the fan vote, your guys' votes, the Freddy videos, because I love the Freddy movies. They're my favorites out of the big 3. And then the best part about this is I can do a series ranking of all the series when we do Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, Child's Play, Phantasm. The list goes on. We can rank all these series completely, and whoever has the best average score is number 1. And honestly, looking at what Elm Street for the first 4 movies, Elm Street's going to have a higher ranking than Halloween. Yay! So we'll do that. Next up is Hellraiser. I think I'm going to do Hellraiser next, because I asked people what they wanted next. They said Friday the 13th, so I'm like, we'll do that later, because Friday the 13th, they're not a Friday the 13th, I think, until like May or December or something like that in 2022. So I'm not in any rush, and we've done a lot of Friday the 13th content. So anyway, I hope everybody's had a great spooky season. It's just about over for the normal people. Our spooky season here at the Horror Syndicate runs all year round, because we're horror fans and we love horror. We don't wait till October. We watch it all year round. I just hit 282 as far as how many movies I've watched for the year, different movies. Now, I've seen things multiple times, like I just watched Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge again last night while I was editing Seth's video, which is the one below, John Carpenter ranking. So I watched Trick, was the newest one I watched last night from 2019. It was okay. I don't know what else to say about it. It just wasn't that great. So hit the subscribe button. We're going to dig into the list. So coming in at number 12 is Halloween Resurrection from 2002. It got a 1.9 out of 5-star, the 5-star rating. So we gave it, it's a 3.8. So Halloween Resurrection is a 3.8 out of 10. I don't really care about this movie as much. I mean, I remember seeing it in 2012 and being, oh, cool, another Halloween movie. It's not great. I don't hate it. I think it was garbage the way they brought Michael back after what they did in H2O. Jamie Lee Curtis's death was kind of weak. I don't know why she kissed Michael Myers. That was weird. You know, it just kind of was a flat movie. And after, you know, he kills off his bloodline, what does he do? He goes home, and there's this internet dangertainment show going on in his house. It just wasn't great, and I really hate that they weren't able to follow that up. This is the third time really, that they did this in the series. Well, second time, but out of three, that they weren't able to give us like a fulfilling ending. I mean, it was cool. Michael had the charred face, which we see in Halloween Kills. There's a couple things, if you look at Halloween Kills, that came from this movie. He was on his way home. His face got charred up. I'm just saying. So did Halloween Kills get some influence from Resurrection? I don't know. It's not. It's the worst one for sure. Number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, this one runs into some trouble. Now, I watched both cuts. There's a theatrical cut, which is impossible to find. Luckily, Vudu has it. If you have a Vudu account, I believe they're selling it for $5 right now for Halloween. You can pick it up for $5, and then there's the Rob Zombie's director's cut, which is a little bit better. There's a little bit more emotion. You can see Laurie kind of descend into madness. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen Halloween 2, Annie finally dies. She didn't die in the first movie. And you get to see Sheriff Brackett, played by Brad Dourif, have this raw, like, emotional moment, and it dragged on. Not dragged on. It was great. It was probably the best part of the movie. The ending in the director's cut is unclear to me whether or not Laurie died. There's a whole thing with the white horse and the four horsemen of the apocalypse kind of thing is what I got out of it. We rated it at 9 on the Horror Syndicate Discourse show. I have it at 12 on my list. We ranked it at 4.3 overall as fans of the Horror Syndicate. So, number 10 is one of my personal favorites. First one I ever saw in the theater, and I've told this story 1,000 times. When the theater got the print, my mom's best friend was the manager, and they had a balcony in the theater. It was an old school theater. It had a stage and everything still. He let me see it the day before they were going to release it. I sat in the balcony. Nobody else was in the theater. Got all the free popcorn, all the free Dr. Pepper or Coke, whatever I wanted. And I got to watch Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, which I absolutely love. It's crappy. It's just point blank. The theatrical cut is crappy. And then, again, we got another one that's got multiple cuts. The producer's cut's a little bit better. It brings back the Halloween theme. The only problem is I noticed that the what do they call that? The color correction is a little bit off in the producer's cut. I wish it would look more like it did in the director's cut. And the music's a big change. They got rid of the killing of all the doctors, the cult members that was in the theatrical cut. So it's a mess, and that's probably why it's rated at 5.8 by our fans. There's no solid cut for this and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, so that's a big problem for me. Number 9 is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and it's got a 5.9, just barely higher than Curse. And I feel like this one, there's a good movie in there. I think the director made some bad choices. First of all, the Myers house. What the hell's he thinking? It's an old Victorian rundown house now instead of the white 2-story, whatever suburban house that we see in all the rest of the series. Really, I think the problem was that they didn't have that location in the 4th movie, so maybe he didn't know. I don't think he was a fan at all of the series, which I get that. Directors aren't always fans of the series, whatever. But taking out the goofy music for the cops would totally change. Even if they were like, oh, we're terrible cops, whatever, cool. They killed off Rachel early on. They should have killed off Tina and had Rachel be the focal point rather than Tina. And people complain about Dr. Loomis being an asshole and being out of character. I feel like he's at the end of his rope, and it's just time to move on from this bullshit. And he knows that Jamie can help him find Michael because he believes Michael's not dead. So Halloween Revenge of Michael Myers is it's number 5 in order, but it's number 9 on our countdown. And coming in at number 8 is Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. We gave it a 6.2 as a community. There's two cuts of this one that are out there. I think the theatrical cut never gets seen again, and that's a shame because the Rob Zombie, I like Rob Zombie overall. I love his movies like 10. Oh, well, shit. I almost said 1031. That's not his movie. That's Rocky Gray. But 31, I really like The Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, but my favorite is The Lords of Salem. I like those movies. When he makes his own thing, he thrives. But his Halloween movies failed for me. He really made, is the nurture versus nature thing. Myers family, they all treated Michael like shit. Was that the reason? For me, in the theatrical cut is better. We get to see Bill Moseley and Leslie Easterbrook, and it just Tom Towles. There's like that breakout scene to me is better than the guys getting all physical with the girl in Michael's room, which made no sense to me. And that's Rob Zombie being stupid in my opinion. But once Michael gets to Smith's Grove in the movie, and you get to see some things with Dr. Loomis, who I actually like. Malcolm McDowell does a good job. From there on, I like the movie. But the first 20 minutes or so is just garbage, in my opinion. Everything after that, I like. It's a little bit different. Rob Zombie he made kind of the same thing as the 78 movie, but a little bit different. So Rob Zombie's Halloween comes in at number 8. Number 7 is Halloween H2O, 20 years later with a 6.6. It's a long but I don't like this one. Actually, I think this was my number 12 movie on my list. I saw it, I've watched all these movies recently. I saw it again a couple days ago, right before we did our ranking, because I was like, I need to watch that again, because I feel like maybe it's growing on me a little bit. I was wrong. There's 4 minutes of good in this movie, and it's after Jamie Lee grabs the axe, and there's that bird's eye view of her in the courtyard at the school saying, Michael, real loud, and then there's the cat and mouse scene. He's flipping the tables. I think Chris Duran, I think, is the actor, worst Michael ever. I would say the second worst is Don Shanks after that, but he is awful. And they had so many problems with the mask. I don't like the cast. The story's preposterous. And they undid the ending for Resurrection because they can't kill Michael. Come on. So Halloween H2O falls really short for me, but it's number 7 for you guys, and that's fine. Number 6 is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and it's a 7.5, which is a great score in my opinion for a movie that people are still giving 1-star ratings to, which is bogus in my opinion. It's a good movie. If your reason for not liking this movie is because Michael Myers is in it, grow up. It's time to get past that. Tom Atkins is fantastic in it. I can't remember his name, O'Hurley, the guy who plays Conal Cochran, is awesome. He's a great villain. You know, he wants to get rid of all the kids. And the Trick or Treat Studios did a great job recreating the masks from the movie from the Silver Shamrock Corporation. I really need to have those behind me. I just got this one recently. But I love those masks. They're so iconic, and I was with you. In 1990, I stayed home on a Friday night. My mom and my stepdad went bowling every Friday night and league play, And I was at home every single night, and they had Halloween 2, 3, and 4 on. I think USA was the network it was on. And I was like, oh, cool, I've never seen Halloween 3. And my mom warned me. My mom was a horror fan. She's like, you're not going to like it. Trust me. And that's the only reason I stayed home. And I sat there and waited and waited and waited for Michael Myers. And they show a commercial for the immortal classic Halloween. I'm like, Michael's not in this movie? You could have warned me, Mom, But she didn't, and here we are. So I like Halloween 3, though. I've grown up since, and I'm not trying to say you're not a grown-up if you don't like it. Maybe you don't like it, that's fine. But since I've grown up a lot, I've watched it and understood it, and it's a really good movie. And I do think if it wasn't called Halloween 3, it'd have a bigger following and a bigger fan base. I will say we do a lot of the bracket matchups, the March Madness brackets. It won a bracket once with some strong competitors in it, some strong movies. So Season of the Witch is underrated slightly still. I think it's getting close to being just fine. It's number 6 on this list. So number 5 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And this movie was a result of the last movie. People were mad that Michael wasn't back, so what they brought him back and kind of made a very similar movie to the 1978 movie. It's a 7.6. To me, it should be higher on the list. To me, The Return of Michael Myers should be a little bit higher on the list. I think it's number 3. I think it's number 2 on my list, my personal list, but it should be 2 or 3 in my opinion. It's the best sequel of all of them in my opinion. Well, maybe not as better than 2, but I love it. I love the characters. In my opinion, Return of Michael Myers should be higher on the list, maybe 2, maybe 3. You've got great characters. The big problem is the mask, but Ellie Cornell. You got Danielle Harris. Donald Pleasance is back as Dr. Loomis, and he's chef's kiss, all burnt up. And I love the thumb to the forehead, during his escape. How many in the bus? Which I don't understand why he called an ambulance a bus. Never heard anybody say that before, but it's Donald Pleasance, so I don't care. And that's the thing with this one, Return, and Revenge and Curse. It's the Thorn trilogy. It's the Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis, and I love that. That Loomis was the character I came back for, not Myers. It was always Loomis. And this was one of my favorite performances from Pleasance in this series, other than 2 and 1. So, number 4 is Halloween 2018. I'm so mad at the name of this movie. It's a 7.8, first of all. Just barely a higher. See, the next 3, 5, 4, 3 are really close together. Really, it's 6s too. 7.5, 6, 7.8, 7.9. 2018, I was really hyped about after it came out. I was like, man, Halloween's back. Michael's back. It's badass. But over time, it gets worse and worse for me. I think I gave it 3 stars when I rated these movies, and I think that's fair. So 6 out of 10 isn't bad. There's a lot of good here. I was glad to see Jamie Lee back, and she did a great job. Her character was totally different from the character in H2O, and really the 78 movie. There's just some things I just didn't care for in this movie, and I love Judy Greer. She was one of my favorite parts of this one and Halloween Kills. And that's it. I can't wait to see how it ends with Halloween Ends coming next year, hopefully. But I don't know. This one just kind of is like, okay. Well, let's see what's next. And what's next is number 3, Halloween Kills. Now, Halloween Kills, I'm telling you right now, these 2 are rated right here because they are new. When I do this next year, it'll probably still be like that. But I'm telling you, 10 years down the line, these are going to fall down the list. Because people are going to go back and say, well, yeah, Halloween 4 is great. But Halloween Kills, I said it reminded me of The Last Jedi, the Star Wars movie. And I hated that movie. It made me so angry when I saw it. I was like, I'm done with the series. And that's how I felt when I saw Halloween Kills the first time. It took me 3 or 4 watchings to get to where, like, okay, this isn't that bad. There's a lot of repetitive nature to this movie. There's some things that make absolutely no sense to me. Evil Dies Tonight, way too much. 40 years ago. They say that stuff way too much. We get it. We get it. Michael came 40 years ago. We get it. Evil Dies Tonight. We get it. But the one thing that really kind of bothers me is that scene in the park. Michael sets up the people on the little spin wheel thing, and then Marion on the, spoiler alert, Marion on the swing set with the witch mask. Michael leaves the area, and then when Tommy and does he have somebody come and set these up for him so he can go off and kill more? Because he literally walks over the bridge, watch the movie again. They shouldn't have been set up like that, in my opinion. But whatever. Kills were brutal. All in all, it's pretty fun. I was pissed off at the ending because maybe I don't understand, but I guess he is evil in human form, which means he can keep going. But then there's this whole thing about Michael going home to stare at his sister's window. It's like, what? Which reminds me of Halloween Resurrection, where he was going home. That he wanted to go home. He was done. It's time to go home now. And that's what this one kind of felt like too. I was like, that reminds me of Resurrection. The breakout with the firefighters was really cool. They're going to keep that in there despite the 210 people who signed the petition to get that scene removed. Halloween Kills is number 3 at 7.9. Coming in number 2 is Halloween 2 from 1981, and while I'm recording this, it's October 30th, so Halloween 2's 40th anniversary, yay! I love it. It's a follow-up. I know John Carpenter was inebriated when he wrote this, I believe, and he kind of just, I don't know if he was following in the footsteps of Star Wars with Empire Strikes Back, Luke, I'm your father. That's not the line. It's no, I am your father. But, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode became Michael's sister all of a sudden, which I like that. I like that was the reason. I mean, it's cool, like, being scarier, thinking he's just going after people. But in the first movie, he sets all this shit up for her. Like, my number one question with Halloween Kills is, why is he going home? He got home in Halloween 1978, and then he sees Laurie and decides to fuck with her. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I felt like he had to be a reason. But also it also leaves the question in the '78 John Carpenter movies. How did he know that was his sister? He had never seen her before. Like did he feel it? Like Jamie and Michael and Five, they had a psychic link. Anyway, Halloween 2 is great. Takes place in the hospital for the most part. Laurie is sidelined and kind of out of it most of the movie. But, a lot of this movie for me is Donald Pleasance again as Sam Loomis. And then you've got the most terrifying scene for me as a youngster. I saw Halloween 2 on Halloween night when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Again, playing on like USA or some channel like that. And the scene where Ben Tramer gets smacked by the car as he's crossing the street and by the police car, and then he gets hit into the van. That scared the crap out of me, and I did not want to go trick-or-treating that night. I remember my mom was working, and that babysitter was so mad at me because we were supposed to go trick-or-treating. She wanted to go. My sister wanted to go, but I was like, no. I just saw this kid get hit by a car, and I remember every time we crossed the street, man, I looked both ways like 25 times before. And if I saw a car coming down the road, I was like, nope, I'm back up on the curb. But I love Halloween 2. I love the soundtrack. I love the opening with the pumpkin and the skull opening. I think that's so cool. It's that's one of the best things about these movies is some of the openings. Halloween Kills had a great opening credit scene. Halloween 4 had a great opening credit scene. I'm not a big fan of Halloween 2018's, which should be called Halloween Returns. David Gordon Green. Number 1, by the way, Halloween 2 was 8.5. Number 1 is obviously John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978, 9.4. So damn close. It had one-star rating. Who does that? Had 0 2-stars, had some 3 stars, 4 stars, but it had a lot of 5-star ratings. I got to find out who that was and call them out, because that's bizarre. It might have been my brother-in-law. He hates Halloween movies. Anyway, there's nothing for me to say. Halloween. It's such a great movie. The iconic score, the mask, Michael busting out Dr. Loomis, Sheriff Brackett, Annie, and Laurie, and Linda. And I gotta tell you, I know Seth said something in his video about how he hated the dialogue. I mean, you hated Deborah Hill's biggest contribution. She wrote the dialogue for the girls. She wrote that. That was one of her big things in that movie. And I loved it. I loved Linda and Totally. I loved the way they talked to you. I thought it was great. I thought it was very natural. And you see this repeated in indie horror films, and you've seen this repeated in other films. And I think Carpenter and Deborah Hill did it best in Halloween. It's such a great movie. I love Donald Pleasance. I know Christopher Lee, one of my favorite actors, could have played Dr. Loomis, but I couldn't see it any other way. So that's the ratings. I'll go through it real fast. We've got number 12 is Halloween Resurrection. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is number 11. 10 is Curse of Michael Myers. Number 9 is The Revenge of Michael Myers. Number 8 is Rob Zombie's '07 remake. Number 7 is H2O. Number 6 is Season of the Witch. So I guess kind of underrated. It's in the middle. Number 5 is Return of Michael Myers. Number 4 is Halloween Returns. 2018. It should be called Halloween Returns. Come on. Or something else. Number 3 is Halloween Kills from 2021. I guarantee that's going to drop. I guarantee you it's going to drop. The new thing always gets people excited and throws 5 stars at shit like that. Number 2 is Halloween 2, and number 1 is John Carpenter's immortal classic, Halloween. Thank you so much for watching the video and sticking with me. If you did through the whole thing, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the dislike button. Tell us your rankings in the comments below. I look at every single comment, and I like it, or I don't even bother with it, or I hit the little heart thing, whatever the hell that is. Check us out on Facebook. We've got so much content going up over there. Check us out every Thursday night as we do the Horror Syndicate Discourse, where we talk movies, we've ranked so many things. We did the best 25 movies of the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. We've done so much stuff. We're going to keep it going. 3 episodes are going to happen in the month of November. We're going to do a couple Christmas things in December. It's a lot of fun. And plus, your voice gets to be heard because we see every comment that pops up on the screen whenever we do the live show. And we do it live here, and we do it live on Facebook. So whichever way you want to do it. But thank you. Have a great Halloween. Have a great rest of the year if you don't see us for some reason. But I seriously, thank you for watching the video. You guys just are awesome. So awesome. And thank you for following the Horror Syndicate. Happy Halloween!